Hello students, how are you all doing? Hope that you must be fit and well. Today we are doing a sum from JEE Mains 2016. The sum reads like this. Let two pair six-faced dice A and B be thrown simultaneously. If E1 is the event that die A shows up 4, E2 is the event that die B shows up 2, and E3 is the event that the sum of the numbers on both the dice is odd, then which of the following statements is not true? That means from these four given options, which statement is not true, we have to tell that statement. Okay. A, the options are A, E1 and E2 are independent. B, E2 and E3 are independent. C, E1 and E3 are independent. And D, E1, E2 and E3 are independent. Out of these four given options, only one option is correct and we have to find that correct option. So, how we will do this sum? Okay, so see here. Now, see, if two events, suppose, okay, if two events are independent, okay, suppose A and B are two events, if they are independent, A and B are suppose independent events. Okay, so how do we know independent events? Suppose, okay, then the probability of A intersection B is equals to PA multiplied with PB. That is PA intersection B. That means when A and B are occurring together. Okay, A is occurring also and B is occurring also. That is equals to PA into PB. And if there are three suppose events, if A, B and C are independent, okay, events, if they are all independent events, okay, then independent events, then the condition is that the simultaneous occurring of A, B and C, that means probability of A intersection, okay, A intersection B intersection C, that means the simultaneous occurrence of A, B and C together will be equals to PA into PB into PC. Okay, then they will be independent. Now let us check from this given the property. We will check that which are independent. Okay, so now see here which are true statements and which is false. We will find it out. Okay, now see here. Here it is telling that two six-faced pairs dice okay, are A and B are thrown simultaneously. They are thrown together, and E1 is what? Event that die A shows up 4. So E1 will be what then? Die A is showing 4. So if A is showing 4, so B may be any number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So A is 4, B may be 1, A 4, B may be 2, A 4 and B may be 3, A 4, B may be 4 and A 4, B may be 5 and A 4, B may be 6. Okay, so there are 6, okay, possibilities. So cardinal number of E1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what is the cardinal number of the total sample space? Okay, total sample space will be what? There are 3 possibilities for A. Okay, so that will be 6. multiplied with 6 possibilities of B. So the cardinal number of the S is equals to what? 36. Okay. So probability of E1 will be what then? Then here the cardinal number of E1 is equals to 6. So the probability of E1 will be 6 by 36. Okay. So it will be 6 by 36, which is equals to 1 by 6. Correct? Now here E2 is what? E2 is the event that B shows 2. Okay. So suppose B is showing. So I am writing P E1, okay, here separately. Okay. So P E1 is equals to 1 by 6. Correct? Now see here. Here E2 will be what? E2 is the event that B is showing 2. Okay. E2 is the event that B is showing up 2. So when the second die is showing 2, the first die may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the E2 may be like this: 1, 2, first one 1 and second one 2, first one 2, second one 2, first one 3, second one 2, first one 4, second one 2, and first one 5, second one 2, and first one 6, second one 2. Okay. So here also the cardinal number of E2 is 6. Okay. And cardinal number of S, I have showed you 6 into 6, which is 36. So probability of E2 will be what? The cardinal number of E2 divided by cardinal number of S. Okay, that is 6 by 36, which is 1 by 6. Okay, so I am writing P E2 here separately is equals to 1 by 6. Okay, now see here. Here now E3 is what? E3 is being told to us is the event that the sum of the numbers on both the dice is odd. That means A is also odd and B is also odd. So E3 will be what? E3 will be first one is odd and the second one is also odd. So it may be when the A is 1. So the B may be 1. Okay, it may be 3. It may be 5. Both are odd. Okay. Now the second odd in the first will be 3. Okay. So it is 3. So it will be 1. Okay. And it will both are what? E2 is what? The event that the sum of the sum of both the dice is the sum of the numbers on both the dice is odd. So the sum of the numbers in both the dice is odd. So if the first one is odd, the second one has to be even. Only then the sum will be odd. So when it is 1, so second one will be what? 2. Okay. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Sum is telling to us that the sum of both the numbers, that means the sum of the numbers of A and B is odd. Sum is odd. Okay. So if the first one is 1, the second one has to be 2. So first one 1, second one will be what? 4. Okay. First one 1, the second one has to be 6. So if the first one is 2, the second one has to be odd. If the first one is even, the second one has to be odd. Then will be the sum will be the odd number. So if 2, then 1, 2, it will be 3, 2, it will be 5. That means the odd will be when the number on the one die is odd and the second one will be even then. And when the first one is even, then the second one has to be odd. Okay. So it will be 2 when it is first one is 3, the second one will be 2, first one 3, second one will be 4, maybe 4, first one 3, the second may be 6. Okay. When the first one is 4, then the second one has to be odd. So it may be 1 or 3 or 5. Okay. Then if the first one is 5, so second one will be what? The even number. Okay. It may be 2, or when first one is 5, so second one may be 4, first one is 5, the second one may be 6, or if the first one is 6, the second one may be 1, 6, second one may be 3, and 6, the second one may be 5. Then the sum is odd. Okay. So now count how many elements are in E3. So E3 are what? The cardinal number of E3 is 18. You may count, it is 18. Okay. And the probability of E3 will be what then? It will be 18 by what? 36, which is equals to half. Okay. So P E3 is equals to half. Okay. Now see here. So what is E1 intersection E2? So E1 intersection E2 will be, that means the first one is 4 and the second one is 2. So that is intersection of E1. So first one is 4 and the second one is 2, is 4, 2. Okay. So the cardinal number of, what we will have? So the so E intersection, so E1 intersection E2, that means the first one is 4 and the second one is 2. Okay. So it is 4, 2. Okay. And the this is E intersection E1 intersection E2 and E2 intersection E3. That means the second one is odd and the sum of the two will be 2. Okay, the sum of the two numbers is the odd. E3 is saying that the sum of the two numbers is odd, and the E3 is saying the sum of the two numbers is odd, and E2 was what? The second die is having the 2, B is having the 2. So what will be E2 intersection E3? So here it will be 1, okay, 1, 2, okay, and it may be 1, 2, or it may be what? 3, okay, 3, 2, or 5, 2. The sum is odd. Okay. So the sum is odd. The second one is 2. Okay. The second one is 2. It will be what? Second one is 2. So the sum is odd. So it will be 1, 2. Okay. And maybe 3, 2, or 5, 2. Then the sum will be odd. Okay. So these are the E2, E3, right? And the E1 and E3 is what? E1 and E3 is, that is the first one is 4 and the sum is odd. Okay. So E1 intersection E3, first one is 4 and the sum is odd. So 4, it is 1, 4, it is 3, and 4, it is 5. So the sum will be odd. Okay. So what is the probability of, so here and E1, E2, E1 intersection E2 intersection E3. Now E1 is that the first one is 4. E2 is what? The second one is 2. And the E3 is what? The sum is odd. Okay. So it is not possible. It is impossible event. Okay. So if the first one has to be 4 and second one is 2. So the sum will be the even number. And it is saying that the E3 is the sum is odd. So it is impossible in impossible event. Okay, so it is no element in it. Okay, so what we are having here, the probability of E1 E2. Okay, so the probability of E1 intersection E2 is 1 by the total number, 1 by 36. Okay, and probability of E2 intersection E3 is 3 by 36, right, which is 1 by 12. Okay, and the probability of E and the probability of what? And the probability of E1 E3. Okay, so E1 E3 will be what? E1 intersection E3. Okay, so this is 3 divided by 36. Okay, 3 by 36, which is 1 by 12. And the probability of E1 E2 E3, so probability of intersection of E1 intersection E2 intersection E3 is 0 by 36, that is 0. Okay, that is 0, right? Impossible event. So what we are getting now from here? Okay, now check which are independent and which are not independent. Okay, now E1 and E2 is independent. So probability of E1 intersection E2. Okay, E1 E2, what we have got is 1 by 36. Okay, and probability of E1 into E2. Okay, so probability of E1 is 1 by 6. Correct? And the probability of E2 is also 1 by 6. So 1 by 6 into 1 by 6 is 1 by 36. That is probability of E1 intersection E2 is equals to probability of E1 into E2. So E1 and E2 are what? Independent events. So this is not possible. Okay, now let us check the second one. So second one is saying that the probability of, that is E2 and E3 are independent. So probability of E2 intersection E3. So E2 intersection E3 is what? E2 intersection E3 is 1 by 12. Correct? And the probability of E2 into E3. Probability of E2 into probability of E3. The probability of E2 is 1 by 6. And the probability of E2, 3 is 1 by 2. Correct? So it is 1 by 6 into 1 by 2 is 1 by 12. So probability of E2 intersection E3 is equals to probability of E2 into PE3. So these are also independent events. Okay, so this is also false. That means this statement is true. We have to find which are not true. So this is true, so this is not the possible answer. Okay, now let us check the third C option. Okay, so the C option is saying E1 and E3 are independent. Okay, so probability of E1 intersection E3. Okay, so E1 intersection E3 is 1 by 12. Okay, so probability of E1 into probability of E3. Correct? So probability of E1 is 1 by 6 and probability of E3 is 1 by 2. So this is 1 by 12. So probability of E1 intersection E3 is same as probability of E1 into PE3. So these are also independent. So this is a true statement. We have to find which is false. So A, B, C and A, B, C are false, means true. They are not the correct answer. We have to find which is not true. Okay. Now D, I am checking D. Okay. So probability of E1 intersection E2 intersection E3. So what is the probability of E1 intersection E2? This is impossible event. Its probability is 0. Okay, and probability of E1 into probability of E2 into probability of E3. So what we are getting here, probability of E1 is 1 by 6. Okay, this is 1 by 6 probability of E2, and probability of E3 is half. So this is 1 by 72, which is not equals to 0. So these are not independent events. So D is the false and false. So E1, E2, E3 are independent, it is saying, but it is not independent. So D is the correct answer. Okay, this is not a true statement. We have to find which is not true. So D is not true. Okay, so I hope that you must have understood the sum very clearly. Okay, thanks for watching the video. Stay fine. Thank you.